Hi and welcome back to the channel. Thanks very much for tuning in again. Yes, I know it's been a little while since I've had a chance to get a video together. And in today's episode, will it start? Yeah, so I hope everybody had a great Christmas and New Year. For us, it was actually fairly busy. Spent a fair bit of time in the workshop in the heat. It's been pretty hot in Australia. It was like a couple of 42, 43 degree days in here, and without air conditioning, it's not the most fun. However, did get a fair bit achieved, and that will be coming through the pipeline shortly. Got a fair bit going on with a couple of other cars. I'll show you some of that soon. However, in today's video, we're going to see if we can get this car started. Now, it's a 1996 version 2 Australian delivered WRX. The owner, the customer of this car, has only just recently bought it, and apparently it's been sitting for about 7 or 8 years. So we've been given the task of going through it and seeing if we can turn it into a runner, which will end up being possibly a rally sprint, carnicross / autocross car. So let's get into it and have a look at the car. Righto, let's take a look at this weapon. Australian delivered 96 WRX, what we would know as a version 2. It is in the Pro Drive or the 555 Blue, which was unusual in Australia at the time. Not many of these were actually sold in this colour in Australia. It's got a fair bit of superficial panel dramas. Apparently the owner says that the previous owner, somebody came and laid the boots into it. Don't know whether it's somebody has laid the boots into it or got to it with a hammer. So I'm not sure yet what we'll do with the panel work there. I'm sure we can sort that all out if needs be. The paintwork's in a fair state, so it probably really needs a respray. However, it is a complete car. Let's have a look under the bonnet. Okay, so under the bonnet, it looks like it's all pretty much standard 96 WRX. It actually looks fairly complete for a change. I can spot straight away this awesome looking blow-off valve here, a SARD blow-off valve. That will have to be sorted out, particularly pointing upwards like that's not a good call. Let's see if it's got any coolant in it. Surprisingly, it does have coolant in the top tank. That tank is well shot, so we'll have to change that out for the later model tank and reseal that. Power steering fluid, pretty dry. There's a tiny bit in the bottom there, so that should be okay. Now, the owner said that he had already started draining the oil out of it, so I expect there's probably no engine oil in it. Now, there's no engine oil in that, so we won't try and turn it over. So it's got the factory smaller intercooler from the early 90s. It doesn't have an alarm in it for some reason, so we'll see what we can do with that and bypass it if needs be. The current owner's just put a temporary fuel filter. That's not really the ideal filter, but just to put it in there to bypass the factory one. That we're going to have to look at the fuel system first. We don't know. This car's not been cranked. It had no battery in it at all. Came on a trailer. The owner picked it up on a trailer, and we pushed it into the workshop. So definitely we'll change the oil and filter before we try and turn it over. That'll be the least of the concerns. Got a few other bits and pieces we need to look at. The fuel system in this car is suspicious. I believe the tank is full of rust, and the first item on the agenda will be to get the fuel tank out and replace that with a good unit. So up in the air, let's have a look underneath it. Straight up, I have noticed the sump plug is well rounded on there, so that's not a good start. We'll have to get a sump plug on it. It's been leaking a fair bit of oil from somewhere, probably cam seals, crank seals at the front, maybe even power steering fluid. It's not uncommon, so that'll need to be changed. It's had a fair bit of moisture where it's been sitting there. That tie rod's well rusted out. I'm sure for some of our overseas viewers, like say the US or whatever, that's probably common with the ice and snow and mud on the roads. Not so much in Australia. Has got a dirty great 3-inch dump pipe on it and a 3-inch exhaust on it with obligatory dents in it where it's been run over stuff. Fair bit of corrosion in the back where it's been sitting. I'm not sure. It was sitting in a backyard, I believe, but I don't know the condition of it, whether it was like in the grass or it was in the gravel or something, but it certainly looks like it's been sitting a long time. The diff's going to have to come out and all the exhaust, so I'll get some penetrine on all those, get some good rust penetrant on that before I try and pull those all out and get the tank out. Probably not the easiest to see, but the light's better from this angle. That CV boot there, that outer CV has completely had it. There's no boot left at all there, and it's full of dirt, so that'll need a drive shaft on that side. I'm presuming the other side boot doesn't look too bad, but from being filthy and dirty, I guess we'll find out as we go along. It's got split rack boots in it. Again, very common for this age of car. So yeah, no major surprises under there. Everything seems not too bad actually. I've seen a lot worse underneath these cars, so it's a good starting point. I didn't film the whole process of pulling the tank out of the car. I've got the tail shaft out here and I'm just taking the rear diff and rear cradle assembly out. There's still a few bits and pieces, and then drop the tank out. They really are tucked in quite tightly in there, so there's a fair bit to get them out. With the fuel hatch bolts all undone, it's time for the big reveal. And no surprises there. The customer wasn't joking when he said it was full of rust. That is probably the worst fuel tank I've ever seen actually inside. It's bordering on rusting right through. I would say that that's probably not had a fuel cap on it for some time, and there's probably as much water in there as there is fuel. That's disgusting. That whole lot is just going to scrap. Okay, so got the fuel tank in the car now with a new pump and plumbed all that through. I've just sort of bled a little bit of fuel through the lines just to flush out some of the nasty stuff that was in there before. So I'm going to give this a go and try and give it a kick in the guts and see if we can get it to start. The only thing I'll add at this point is that the car has got a new oil filter and fresh oil and a new fuel filter, and that's it. Haven't even changed the spark plugs. Okay, well the answer to the question, does it run? Well, yes it does, and after a bit of coaxing got it to run on 4 cylinders, which is quite surprising actually. I thought all the fuel injectors would be blocked. They probably do need to be cleaned if we're going to go further with this. It is showing signs that the thermostat is shut or jammed shut, which is not surprising given the gunk and muck in there. There was water in the top tank, but I don't think it's flowing around the radiator there. So some decisions to be made by the customer now, whether we want to continue with this and turn this into a rally sprint autocross car, or whether we want to do something else. So fate unknown. I guess if we do continue with it, then we'll keep posting up on the channel about it. Anyway, thanks very much for watching this episode. It's great to see also a few more subscribers on board over the new year as well, so thank you very much for that. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked this episode. Please give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you again soon. Cheers.